right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. We're back to the old format tonight. We're going to do a magazine. This is BMX Action, September 1984. This looks to be a very good magazine. I've only thumbed through it. I don't remember much of it. I do know for a fact that this is Mike Miranda's favorite magazine cover, and for obvious reasons, he's on it. And this is an epic shot, which we're going to get a closer look at here in a second. I was thinking about September 84. Freshman year, just started high school. I was super intimidated. It wasn't a good time for me. I had to take swimming in the first period. That really sucked. And what was going on in September 84? Well, Karate Kid was #1 at the box office. Purple Rain was up there. And Ghostbusters. Actually, I think Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, was actually #1, September 84. And then Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It, was like the #1 song during September 84. And I also know that Madonna was just killing it in 84. But anyway, let's take a quick look at the cover and then we'll get into the magazine. Again, this is September 84. This is a great, great shot of Mike Miranda. I mean, this is near perfection. How his body position on the bike is just epic. His uniform looks amazing. He's on that torquer. He's got the Max seat cover on there with the 09 number plate. And it's got the Hutch pedals on there, Comp 3 tires. He's even rocking a brake cover. And I'm sorry, a brake. I don't know, what would you guys call these things? A brake guard. That's what it was. The visor is got the perfect kink up with the visorizer and the dark torquer goggles. And Team Jesus, you got to love it. What's in the magazine, by the way? We got hectic race action in Las Vegas, so we'll take a look at that. High voltage testing of the Kuwahara Nova, plus freestyle how-tos, racing tips, and more. Pretty simple cover, but again, once I saw this, I saw Mike talking about this in one of the episodes of the Dirty Knobs podcast, and I go, man, I remember that cover, and I can't remember whether or not I read this magazine. I flipped through it, and part of it did look familiar, but let's go through it. I'll see you guys in there. Let's go. Let's get into it. I'm anxious to go into this magazine. So as you can see, the cover is not attached. So I have to be really, really careful with this one. And like I said a few times, my cousin loaned me a bunch of magazines so that I can continue doing my content. And when I took this one out of the plastic sleeve and I noticed it was loose, I immediately, kid and gloves. I didn't want to ruin it. But overall, though, the magazine's in really, really good condition. So let's get into it. We got Z rims here, ACS Z rims. I love this ad. I thought Z-rims looked really, really cool. I never owned a pair of Z-rims, but I didn't have anything against them. I thought they looked really cool. Did I like them more than, like, let's say an anodized wheel? I'm going to say probably not, because I really liked an anodized wheel, or even better, a chrome wheel. But I did think those were pretty trick looking for what they were. On the inside cover here, it looks like this is going to be Clint Miller. That's my best guess. Let's see how good I am at this. Let's see. I don't see. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. Oh, wow. Usually it says on this page. But yeah, that's got to be Clint Miller. Who else is going to look like that? That's an awesome shot. Inside the magazine, though, this is going to be September 1984, Volume 9, Number 9. Scott Clark's Practice Gate. We'll take a look at that. A freestyle how-to, the twist. Testing the Kuwahara Nova. And then racing in Las Vegas. We've got riding tips, how to save yourself from going over a berm. Oh, that'll be interesting. We got outtakes, of course, and then the cover, Mike Miranda, Supreme Serial Flying. All right, Mike. Photo by quick-fingered Jim Casimus. Very, very cool. All right, let's go to the next page. So I'm excited for this one. Oh, this is a cool one. Let's take a look. So we have, you got your typical intro here for BMX Action, S&R pedals there. We've seen that a few times. And then this awesome Haro ad here. This is obviously the Haro Trick Team. Bob Haro sitting right there in the middle. And these bikes are still the rage right now. People are spending good money to acquire these repops of these bikes. And I can't say I blame them, because although I'm not a freestyle guy, I'm riding a repop Skyway. So I know that, yeah, it's important to a lot of guys my age to just relive all this stuff. And I really, really appreciate the fact that these manufacturers are coming out with all this retro stuff, because it's just like being reborn. Let's go to the next page. Okay, we got an Araya add here 7X wheels, which is pretty cool. We've looked at this one before. What's black and white and wins all over? We already know that's Diamondback. And this is a great shot. We've seen this one before as well, but this is just another example of how much money Diamondback was pouring into their advertising. And let's face it, they could do it, man. They were selling tons and tons of bikes. There was Diamondbacks everywhere you looked. I never owned one. My cousin James did go through a couple of them, but I did ride a Diamondback Turbo for a short period of time. It was his frame and fork, my cousin James's frame and fork. I actually was in between frame and forks, and so I had all the parts, but I had a cracked frame. So he let me use his Diamondback for a little while, and I gotta say it was fine. I think I did pretty well on it. I don't remember results how I did on it, but I remember just putting all my parts onto that bike before I flipped over to PK Ripper, because I went from Haro RS1, and then for that short period of time I rode the Diamondback Turbo, and then I went back to the PK Ripper, and then the list just goes on and on. One day I'm just going to write down all the different bikes I've ridden and then talk about that in a future video. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is the B&B Practice Electric Gate. That is an awesome looking setup. I'm going to try to just move in really quick so you guys can see it better. Look at that. Complete with the lights and the metal gate, and it's got looks like it's metal grid right here so you don't slip like you would on, like, let's say just plywood. That is really awesome. Golly, what a setup. This is Scott's too. It's a Scott's complete setup. You're looking at $425 worth of high-tech reflex improvement and technique perfection equipment. If you're serious enough, it's easily worth it. Is it worth it? I would say so. I mean, if I had a setup like this, I'd probably use it right now, although it doesn't have the random start or whatever, but it doesn't matter. I mean, gate practice is gate practice, right? I actually, I got some dirt on my finger, sorry guys. I actually made one of these. I was probably about 15, and all I did was take a long piece of plywood, cut the bottom off of it. I put some fence hinges underneath it, and then the gate flopped up and down. And then I actually took a metal pole, attached it to the gate, and voila, I had a starting gate. And it was me, my cousin, and a few friends. We were doing gates in front of my house with it, and it worked. I mean, it was all, let's face it, it was plywood, so it flexed and all that. But we used the hell out of it until it basically just fell apart. So it was worth it. Let's see, we dominate. We got the Zap Pads ad, and we talked about this before. And it's weird to see Brian Patterson doing what usually would be Greg Hill. Oops, I knocked the cover off already. Got to be really careful. But that's a really good shot. And like I said before, I don't really recall seeing Brian actually running these pads. Obviously, he probably did. And okay, let's talk about this just for a second. This is a stupid point, but do you see how he has the lightning bolt going in this direction? I always had it going in the opposite direction. I thought it looked better that way. Maybe that's just an opinion of mine, but I just thought it looked better that way. Let's go to the next one. Oh, here we go. Here's Scott busting out on his gate right here. So it says Scott pulling out some major muscle. He does about 45 minutes worth of starts on his practice gate every day. And it says it's helped a bunch. He's improved this year. And it says it helped a bunch. His improvement this year is showing in the results, basically. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's really, really cool. It's pretty obvious. If you do gates every single day for 45 minutes, you're going to do nothing but get faster. But it looks like he has to have somebody operating the gate. So that's going to be a little challenging. I would want something where I can just do it on my own. Whose gate setup I think is probably the most impressive is Barry Nobles. I watched that guy practice in his YouTube videos, and he's got his own jumping areas, ramp areas. He's built a mini BMX track and complete with a starting gate, and it's just pretty good. You can see all the work he puts in to perfecting his game, and it helps. I mean, obviously, when you see him race, he's still at a very super high level, and you can tell why. The guy puts in tons and tons of work. We talked about Team Cycle before, and this helmet, I actually owned this helmet at one point, and I had my dad repaint it blue. We took all the stickers off of it, and he actually hand wrote Skyway with paint on the back of it for me, and I put the visor riser on here because this is a little bit of a misleading ad because the visor doesn't naturally sit up like that. When you snap the visor in, it was in the downward position. So it wasn't until later that I discovered visorizers. But yeah, I customized the helmet to match all my Skyway gear, and it worked out really, really well. Although this helmet, and I shared this in a story before, and I hate to repeat my stories, but it was really hard to see out of, guys. I mean, I went from an open face to a full face, and the first time I did that, I was just like, wow, I lost about 10-15% of my peripheral vision. And you don't think that's a big deal until you catch somebody off. It was really hard to adjust to, at least the first few times I used it. We got a Robinson ad here. This is a great shot. Tawny Thomas, second place at the Grand Nationals, District Number 2. So this was 1984. My best guess here, she's probably about 7 or 8 years old here. And it's funny to think that this magazine's 40 years old. So, yeah, she's like 45, 47. She's about 5 or 6 years old, my best guess. I think I said 7. So she's like 45 to 47 years old. I mean, if anybody wants, Google Tawny Thomas and let's see what she looks like. Throw it in the comments. We got Jumbo Donuts here. Flight. I don't think I've ever used Jumbo Donuts, but I definitely went through my fair share of donuts. Absolutely had this brake lever. I totally remember that brake lever. We got our Hutch ad here. This is really cool. We've seen this a bunch of times. I love all these sweatsuit stuff here. I would love to have that now. These pedals are still very sought after. Matter of fact, everything on this page would be sought after. I love it. Everything about Hutch I love. I just never owned one. You know, it just eluded me. Let's keep on going. We got the 09 wrist wrap. I love these. The Alina seat. And then product analysis. So we won't read all this because that's just too much to read. They're talking about Scott Skate. Oh, here we go. The twist with R.L. Osborne. Freestyle how-to. Come on, baby. Let's do the twist by Chubby Checker. And you can see what is the twist, by the way. Let's start from here. So here's the step. First step, second step, third step. Oh, okay, so he's just going all the way around. Fourth, and then here's your fifth step here. Sixth, seventh, eighth, and that's really cool. So he's spinning all the way around on his bars back to the riding position, which looks really cool. Yeah, it looks easy, but I definitely guarantee I could not do that then, and I definitely couldn't do it now. All right, let's go to the next page. We got the Schwinn Grand Nationals in 1984. I remember seeing this ad before in a previous magazine. The payout for A Pro was $7,000, for B Pro $5,000. Pro Cruiser, you can win $4,000, and then Pro Reward, aka Pro Open, another $2,000. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday race. So Friday was all-day practice. So Friday wasn't even a race day. Saturday was a race day. Sunday was a race day. So as we know now with USA BMX, Friday's absolutely a race day, and the pros race Fridays and Saturdays. And it was funny because I just went to the NorCal Nationals, as you guys saw in my previous video, and I went on a Friday. And you know what? It's funny because you would think, well, a lot of people are working Friday. They're probably going to go on Saturday. That wasn't really the case. There was 150 plus motos, I believe, on Friday. There was a huge turnout on Friday. And I thought to myself, man, if I'm going to go to more races and do more footage and maybe even consider racing again, I'm going to start thinking about maybe Friday's the day to go, you know, especially since it rained on Saturday at that last race. So that was horrible. Here we go, the Kuwahara Nova. It says here, if you want an inexpensive freestyler and just add a front brake, coaster brake, and you've got it made, Mike Buff behind the bars. Oh, so it's a race bike, but they said it's pretty easily converted to a freestyle bike. This is a great shot of Buff doing the curb endo and what is considered my favorite Vans ever, the red ones. And that's a great shot. Curb endos look so cool. I still like doing curb endos. I mentioned it in a few episodes back. I just love doing a curb endo. I just always thought it looked really, really cool, even though it's one of the easiest tricks to do. If I can do it, it's easy. All right, let's go to the next page, yeah. Oh, there we go. This picture's in the inside of the magazine. It is Clint Miller styling heavy at Honda Hills, and this is a great shot. This shot definitely rivals Miranda's shot. It's so well done, so well put together. I love the lighting on it. I love how the back is blurred, but his image is sharp. Just so much little details that as a kid you don't really pay attention to, but as now that I'm older, I look at it and I can appreciate the sheer artwork that was the pictures in these magazines. And this is just a great shot of Clint. You can't really ask for a better shot than that. Let's keep on going. Great shot of RL here, getting that berm shot right there. That's a really, really good shot. What was the price for this bike? The bike complete price is $240 for chrome, $230 for painted. So for an extra 10 bucks, obviously you're going to rock a chrome one. I love white. My Skyway's all white. I've had a couple white bikes. I had a Haro that was all white, a Panda Pro-Am that was white. And I love white because the colors pop against white. It's kind of hard to compete with chrome because with a chrome bike, you can literally just beat the heck out of it and it's going to look just as good as it did when you left your house. So that's one of the things about chrome that's definitely an advantage. And back in the 80s, I mean, we were digging chrome. Oh, look at this. This is a great shot. So 5 minutes with Clint Miller. Great shot. He's also he's also got the brake guard on there. This is a great looking bike. Love it. And it looks like he's rocking. No, those are Comp 3s. I was going to say they were Comp 2s. But those are definitely Comp 3s. And he said, they asked him, how's married life? He said, good, and I'm enjoying it. He was only 22 years old. What else is cooking with you? He said, I've been in Australia and England. And he said, who won? I did. Gary got second. I think that was his world championship win. Let's see. He said Nelson Chanity had beat him. Eric Roop got second. Brent Patterson and I tied for third. Just kind of breezing through it. I don't want to read too much because the magazine reviews can get really, really long if I do that. His frame is a custom Kuwahara Laserlight Chrome Molly. He's got GHP forks on it though, which is strange, and it says "Shh, don't tell Kuwahara." He's got Galindo handlebars on there with the plastic crossbar, and his headset. He says it's just a cheap headset with a dirt skirt on it. Array of 7X wheels, 36 spoke, of course. Suntour Super B aluminum hubs, and he's rocking. It says Tioga Comp 4s. So I'm not really familiar with that. I'm sure they're basically Comp 3s. It's got the Diacomp brakes on it and Diacomp cable, Cool Stop brake pads, Amy Unitron grips, and the Suntour XC1 bolt-on LRP cages. So he's got Suntour pedals, but he's got different cages on it if you look. And that's weird. I wouldn't have noticed that unless I read it. And so that's a custom ad right there. Redline Flight cranks, 180 millimeter. And then the Sagino Spider. Or it looks like Power Disc, I should say. Pretty good. He's running a 17-tooth freewheel, though. That's weird. 45-17 is what he's running. That's weird. But I guess it worked for Clint. Clint was fast as hell. Shotgun. Cycle Pro Shotgun 2-seat. That's cool. And then a Kuwahara Chrome Molly seat post, S&R aluminum seat clamp. That was pretty much his bike. Pretty sick build. Love it. All right, let's keep moving. Akron saddles. Here's the back of the test bike, the dropouts for it. Rockville BMX. And then we got the gear ad here with all the pad sets and stuff like that. That's really cool. The Fox MT Racing. Pretty simple ad, but says it all, man. You just take your bike, put it up against a brick wall, and go. It looks really good, though. I like it. All right, let's go to the next page here. Oh, yeah. My favorite part of any BMX magazine is always the racing. This is from Las Vegas, NBL War of the Stars. Richie Anderson is in this photo, and check it out. Richie is on spoked wheels. Now, this is a cruiser, though. So I don't believe Skyway had come out with the 24-inch tough wheels yet, so he's rocking the cruiser right here. And this is Richie. That means he only won one class. So they said Richie had a so-so day, and what that means is he only won one class. So he dusted the 17 cruiser class to make up for 17 expert. Wow, that is just a great, great shot. Man, that's beautiful. Let's go to the next page. Oh, here we go. A sequence shot. Before there was video, guys, we had sequences. So here's your first shot here. A little berm warfare going on. This is the 17 expert main, and it looks like there are 6 sequence. Oh, who's this over here? Oh, there's Richie. That's why he didn't win. He came off his bike. Looks like he was sitting 2 going through the first turn, and then right here he starts to break loose. He's picking up his front end right here. Look like he's going into a power wheelie. and then boom, he came off the pedals right there. And next thing you know, he's straight running. So that's a really, really good shot, though. I'm assuming that's Gary Ellis right there. Great, great shot. Oh, wow. Look at this action. We got, let's see. Oh, there's no captions for the picture, so I'm just going to do the best I can. Best guess is that's Tommy Brackens, I'm assuming. And I would assume this is Sean Texas on Pro Neck. And that looks like that could be Ronnie Anderson on the boss in the background. That's what it looks like there. And I can't identify the GT rider, but we've got a GHP rider right here too. These are really, really great shots. But this is the first time I kind of experienced this where there's no like insert here telling me who's who and what's going on in the photo. But that's all right. Picture's worth a million words, right? Oh, here we go. Oh, check it out. Bubba Hayes. Now, I loved that he ran the 1 3/8 wheels on the PK Ripper. I remember seeing this when I was a kid thinking, man, that looks so slick. And he loved running the skinny wheels. He said he tried to go. I remember I read something that he tried to switch over to like a 1.75 like everybody else. And he said it just looked too big to him. It looked big and heavy and like a truck tire because he liked looking down at the skinnier wheels. I think the smallest I would go or I've gone is a 1.5. I ran a 1.5 and I didn't feel any difference on it traction wise. And eventually I kind of just got so used to it that they felt like 1.75s. And then eventually I went back to the 1.75s. But I did like the thinner look. To me, it just looked faster. There's a small roller right here leading into the next straightaway. And then you're going to head over to a step jump, second turn here to a small double, and then we're going to head into these quads right here. Now, I've actually seen this race now that I've looked at. I recognize the track. Small speed jump, and then you're going to cross back over the first straightaway and into the finish line jump. Now, I know I've seen this. I've actually covered this race in some of my videos. It's funny because I didn't realize it until I looked at the track because I was like, I totally remember watching everybody go through this track. This was definitely a JAG BMX championship type race, and it was televised. It's in one of my videos. I think it's in at least two of my videos. You're going to have to go back and try to find it, but it's in there somewhere. Let's keep on going. We got Tommy Brackens over here, and this little guy here is Willie Hubner, first and 7 expert. Wow, he's 47 years old now, guys. Golly, time is a serious mother effer, man. Golly. Look at the size of Sean Texas's back. Holy mackerel, guy's like a truck. And he's still like a big, strong dude. Sean Texas between motos. He's built like an armored truck. Here's Ruminier right here. Factory Murray. We got the GHP ad. This is a great shot of Greg right here with the GHP shirt. And they got the GHP polo shirts here. That's really cool. Let's take a look at some of the results for Las Vegas. So in A Pro, Jeff Ruminier took first. Scott Clark, Ron Anderson, Fred Hightower, Eddie King, Anthony Sewell, Frank Post, and Sean Texas. That rounded off your A Pro class. Pro Cruiser, D.D. Leone won that one. Jeff Ruminier, Toby Henderson, John Cruz, Anthony Sewell, Robbie Roop, and then we got Scott Clark and Clarence Perry. So for Pro Open, Tommy Brackens won Pro Open, Eddie King, and then Mike Polson. That's a good, oh man, that's a stacked gate. Every gate was stacked. B Pro, D.D. Leone won B Pro as well. Don Jolie picked up second, and Kirk Crisco picked up the third. Very, very cool. Very cool. Look at this kickstand. That's such a simple idea. I love that though. Man, can't stand your bike? Now you can. That's really cool. I'm always leaning my bike up against my car at the races. How to save yourself from going over the berm. Bob Harrow art. Man, this is amazing. Look at this artwork. Holy crap. You got the Skyway rider smashing into the GT rider. And the detail on this is amazing because the Skyway rider's rocking the Harrow plate. And the GT guys got the 09 plate going on. And I noticed how, like, this is Bob Harrow's art. And he made sure it says Harrow here. You see Harrow here. Nowhere does it say 09. and you can barely see where it says dyno here. But oh yeah, he put it right here. So he kept it correct. And they're both rocking JT Racing gloves. You got the 09 visor here, JT Racing visor here. He's rocking, this looks like a Haro. That's a JT Jofa, I believe, and this is the Haro one. And he's got the Haro elbow pads. That's just such great artwork. Look at how it's got the Converse shoes with the laces coming undone. And then you can see all the dirt flying up. Man, I don't even really care about what the article says right now. I'm just admiring this artwork. That's really, really awesome. We got the free BMX Action School folder. And then, of course, some posters that go along with it. True Temper, the tough American frame for a mean American game. True Temper. Can't say I remember that, but I do remember the ad. I don't remember the bikes, though. We got Vector. Vector did a lot of advertising. I feel like I see him a lot in these magazine reviews. And, of course, we got the Mongoose Pro Cruiser. #1 is Never Ordinary. That's a really, really good shot. I don't know. This is part is funny. I remember this. They made him look generic in the corner. It says rider and pants. That's pretty funny. All right, let's go. We're almost through this magazine, guys. Let's get it done. We got the JT ad with Toby Henderson, which we've seen this one several times, so we don't need to keep going through that one. And then we got the red line, the System RL flipped over, these red line forklifter bars, way ahead of their time. I mentioned that before with the small number plate, except it's fixed to the bars. But other than that, those look really, really cool. And I think that out of all riders, I think that Billy Griggs owned this look. I thought he did anyway. We got the Patterson frame and fork sets with the straight seat post, laid back seat post, and Patterson handlebars. By my buddy Mike, one of my best friends growing up, he definitely rocked his Patterson. He loved it. He loved it. And I always admired his Patterson. As a matter of fact, he got his Patterson right around the time, his frame and fork, he got it right around the time I got my Skyway. And I remember we were both admiring each other's bikes. And we were sitting, we were sitting in my backyard and we were polishing our bikes by hand, you know. And he goes, man, remember the time when we would look at other people's bikes and think we would never have cool bikes? Look at us now, you know. I remember having that conversation with him, and I go, yeah, man, things definitely have changed. CW Phase 1, we got the dyno ad here. SR Turbo Box cranks. Excuse me, guys. We have the MKS pedals, and then finally the Huffy Pro Thunder. Crank up the power of Pro Thunder. All right, we're just about finished. Great GT ad here, $229 for the GT Mach 1. Rob Fade is definitely the poster boy right now, as at this point Greg Hill has moved on, and this is just a great shot. Now, if you look at this, I've looked at this before, and I think I've made mention to it. If you just look at the comparison of how big Rob is compared to your standard GT Mach 1. Now, granted, this is not a Pro Series GT, but, you know, this guy is this big, and he can fly on these little bikes. So just gives you an idea of how talented Rob was. And speak of the devil, we got Greg Hill with his Cycle Pro GHP ad, and it gives you this whole Tron look. I just watched Tron, the original one, the other night, and I got to say, guys, obviously the special effects weren't so special anymore compared to today's standard, but man, that movie still was really entertaining. I really enjoyed watching that. We got this tuck and roll thing going on here by Rick Allison. That's a great shot. And guys, we did it. Here's the competition 4s, which basically are competition 3s. I'm sure there's something better about them. But that is it. We did it. BMX Action September 1984 is in the books. I really like this one, guys. I tried to go fast, but I think it still took about 37 minutes or so. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We got a race video coming up here probably in the next 4 or 5 days. We'll knock that one out. And then, as always, guys, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.
I got it. At first it was hard. Nobody believed me. Ever since then, I'm making it clear. This my year. This my year. I hustle in the dark with a bright mind here. Get the bright idea.